My next guest was out of the country, but still kindly agreed to the interview. He's on a cell phone and out of the country, so a few times in the interview, the cell phone that he's on takes a bit of a hit, but you can hear everything, you can understand everything, and I think you'll really enjoy this interview. So here we go. Thank you for listening.
InterviewsWithPower.com, your source for what makes successful people tick. Here's Jeff Stevens with your latest Interview with Power.
Very happy today to have Louis Lautman with me, and I tell you what, I'm just going to let him intro himself because he is into so many different things. In fact, if you check out the Yes movie online, and we have a link to that on the Interviews with Power page, you're going to find out that Louis is a guy that definitely thinks about things in a new and different way. In fact, Louis, in watching your promo for the Yes movie, it seems to me that your belief is that the old economy that we kind of knew and grew up with, go to school, get a job, retire with the gold watch, that is now a thing of the past, and people better be prepared to adapt to this new world.
Well, that's absolutely right, and that's one of my big governing beliefs. In fact, dedicate my life and my mission toward sharing the message that going to school, getting a good job after school, which really, why do you get the good job? It's to pay off your college loans, so maybe you can save up enough money by the time you're 65 to retire to enjoy life. That certainly didn't work for me, and I have found that there's people out there that have also agreed with what I'm saying, and they've decided to follow their dreams, follow their passions, start a business, and are getting enough revenue to support themselves at a very young age. And the way that technology and globalization is happening right now, that old go to school, get good grades so you get a good job, that was originally built to get people to not act out of line and not ask questions and be good production workers, I think it's a bit outdated now, and people really need to start figuring out what it is that they really want to do, what they love to do, so they can work hard and generate revenue doing what they love and be responsible for their financial futures versus relying upon someone else to hand them a paycheck, someone else to take care of their needs and desires, and really take some personal responsibility for these things.
I wanted to ask you to react to something that I read in Success Magazine. Darren Hardy, the publisher, as you probably know, always writes a intro that he leads the magazine off. And I don't remember what issue this was in, but he said that in 50 years, we are going to look back and say that 2012 was a watershed moment in our history as far as that the old barriers of being able to reach your market have crumbled. There's an unprecedented thing going on right now in the world where you can get an idea or a product and you can bring it right to market. I'd like you to react to Mr. Hardy's take on that.
Well, it's what we teach in the Yes movie, is that there's never been a better time to start a business than today. One of the mentors in the movie says something along the lines of, I would tell you years ago you wanted to become a millionaire at the age of 18, it would take you 5 years. But today it would only take you 2. And this was said by a guy named Bob Proctor, who started his first business at age 24. 2 years later was a millionaire. He's 76 years old. So we're talking about back in the 50s is when he did that. So with globalization and technology moving the way that it is, more and more opportunity is going to be created. And the people who have their hand out, waiting for the government to take care of them and waiting for a corporation to take care of them, they're under the mindset of thinking, oh, technology and globalization is going to take my job away. It's going to take me off the production line. But actually what it does is it creates more opportunities for entrepreneurs. You might lose the job doing that thing that a robot took over or a piece of software took over, but then it's going to create another opportunity for you to either create software or create new platforms or create new technologies or work for those organizations. So the only thing consistent in life is change, and we need to really be aware and awake to what is changing in our society, in our communities, in our governments, in technology, and start to think about and ask questions. How can I be equipped to deal with the world today? Because education, traditional education, is preparing our people for a world that's no longer going to be existing. So that's why I think people really need to wake up to what's happening in the marketplace, what's happening around the globe, stop complaining, and start getting excited about the new opportunities and advantages they could have if they just start paying attention.
Let's delve a little into your personal history as to what your mindset might have been before and what has brought you to this point. I understand that you have gotten a lot of your perceptions from literally talking to a bunch of millionaires and people that have been successful. So maybe talk about how your mindset has gotten to its current state.
Yeah, well, it's an amazing thing. Again, traditional education teaches you how to sit in the box, not get out of your seat, not ask any questions. You know, when the bell rings, you do what you're told, and that's it. It doesn't teach you financial literacy. It doesn't teach you how to invest in businesses. It doesn't teach you how to make money. It doesn't teach you how to communicate with people or work well with people. In fact, I used to work with my fellow students in school, with the work that we had. And you know what they used to call that in school?
What was that?
They used to call it cheating, and I would get in trouble for it. But you know what happens in business today for the people that are making money, the people who have the happiest lives? You know what they do?
Collaborate.
They collaborate all day long with other people. I used to get in trouble for collaborating. They don't teach you how to collectively come up with answers and solve problems and solutions. They stick you in there having to do it by yourself. The most successful people in business, they surround themselves with other people who have all the answers. They don't have the answers themselves, but they are resourceful enough to find the answers. And they don't teach that in school. So it's like the people who are making money, the people who are happiest in life, the people who are entrepreneurs, living their dreams, doing what they love all day long, they do things differently than the traditional path. Now, there's nothing wrong with being an employee. There's nothing wrong with having a job. We all need those people. But as we teach in the Yes movie, if you're going to get a job, you should do something that you love. You should work for someone that you enjoy working for. You should do a job that's doing something that you absolutely love, because it's not necessarily about the money, because maybe you're going to learn a skill set to where you won't need to work for that company anymore, and then you can start your own organization providing a service that you're in control of. Rather than making someone else rich and building their dreams, why not learn how to do it for yourself, I always thought. And that's why the people who are living their dreams and have all the money, they do things a lot differently. And for some reason, we're all indoctrinated with this idea of go to school, get good grades. Why do you get good grades? So you can get a good job. Why do you get a good job? Well, so you can pay off your student loans. It's a vicious cycle that people really need to wake up to and start realizing, is this for me? If it is, great, go for it. But if it's not, it's okay to do something differently.
Well, let's talk about maybe some common myths or misconceptions that people have these days that you would just, if you could wave a magic wand over the world, what are some things that you might tell people that to drive into their brain as to what kind of time they're living in and what do they need to do? In other words, what are some of the things that successful entrepreneurs are doing that are now basic to you and common knowledge that the average person isn't grasping?
Yeah, it's stop caring what other people think. So many people, and I don't know what your upbringing was, but most people in school, if the other student thinks they're weird or thinks they're silly or thinks they're stupid or they're not cool or they don't fit in with the group, that's okay, because you have to really look at the herd mentality. And if you do what everybody else is doing, chances are you're going to get the results that everybody else gets. I mean, it's a law of physics. If you want to get a different result of everybody else, you have to do things differently. But because children don't have the confidence, don't believe in themselves, they don't want to stand out, they don't want to look different, they don't want to get laughed at, and that's what's high on their priority list, they fall right into the trap of the same vicious cycle of everybody else, which is doing what they're told, not questioning what's being told of them. I say question everything. Listen to many voices, but ultimately make your own decision of what's right for you. Because it's people who've given up on their dreams who are trying to convince you to give up on your own dreams, and 99% of the world subscribes to giving up their own dreams. And it usually happens around the age of 6 or 7. But you take a child before the age of 4, 5, 6, you ask them their dream, they'll tell you. And they're not willing to listen. You know, they're willing to dream big, and they'll tell you what's going to happen. But it's only when they're brought back down into, you know, what other people will call their own reality because they gave up on their dreams, they want to shut other people down as well. And I don't really understand that. I don't think it serves anybody. And that's one of the reasons why people are sheep, you know, and they just follow the herd. So my belief is, and my experience is, if you stay committed to what you really love and you don't mind what other people think of you and you're willing to forge through toward dreams in the face of people laughing at you, people thinking you're an outcast, people thinking you're silly, if you're willing to do that, you can have absolutely everything that you want.
Okay, so I understand that people have to not worry about what others think. They have to go for their dreams. Can't let I had another interviewee say you can't let the haters disrupt your dreams. So let's talk about if you could be in front of every single person in the world right now that's frustrated with where they are in their career and what they want to do, what would you say some action steps they can do immediately are right now?
Yeah, the first thing that I would figure out is, what do you want? People pay me a lot of money to coach them as a business coach, as a life coach, as an executive coach. And the very first question I ask someone is, well, what do you want? And it amazes me how many people sit there just staring at me. And I'm like, okay, maybe they didn't hear me. What do you want? And they have no idea what they want. So if you don't know what you want, how are you going to know what's going to make you happy? So you've got to figure out what you love. What do you love to do? What do you love to have? What do you love to be? What do you actually enjoy? What gives you energy? What energizes you? What makes you feel good? What do you do when nobody's looking? What do you do when you're not getting paid? What do you do when the door's closed? Once you figure out what you actually love to do, then you got to figure out how can you do more of it. So what do you love to do, and then how do you do more of it? And then for those people who are saying, well, I've got a job I've got to go to for 40 hours a week. Well, then you get a job doing what you love and that you actually enjoy doing and doing something that you're good at. Well, I can't make enough money. Well, figure out a way how you can do what you love to do and get paid doing it. Most people right out of school or get a job, they think, all right, you know, what's an available job for me? Oh, there's no job openings there. Oh, nobody's hiring. Oh, the government's not giving me enough money. That is such a poor perception of personal power that I've ever seen. The whole idea to me of life is figure out what do you love to do, what would you do if you weren't getting paid, and then figure out a way to serve people doing what you love, doing what you're good at, and then figure out how you can serve the most amount of people. Because if you're creative enough, if you're innovative enough, if you use your personal power enough, you can figure out a way to do what you love and make money doing it. You can generate enough income doing what you love to support your lifestyle. And that's one of the things that we teach in our seminars, that you can do what you want and make money doing what you love. You just have to take action. But the very first thing that stops people is that they don't know what they want, or if they know what they want, they don't believe that they can have it. And like Henry Ford said, if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. And that's ultimately what happens, that people don't believe it's possible for them, and they go back to the traditional path, and they do what everybody else does, and that's feeling unmotivated and and depressed about a job that they don't love, and they go 35 years, they turn 65, they enjoy life for a couple of years, and they die. And to me, that wasn't an option. To me, it was about figuring out what I love to do, and then how do I make money doing what I love, and I do that every single day.
And some things they should plug into. What are some things to change that mindset? What kind of is it? Consuming books? Is it going to seminars, like seminars that you might have? What are some steps that you would suggest people should take to start changing that mindset and start taking those, I would say, baby steps towards changing their lives?
Yeah, we become a product of our environment. That's why you can, take a child out of poverty and, a rich family adopts them and they become one of them. Or you hear about, dogs being brought up by wolves and they think they're a wolf, or, all these different stories. You're probably the mean average of the 5 people that you hang out with most, mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, relationally. So you got to look at, where are you spending your time? Start spending time with other people who have expansions, who have significant belief in themselves. Spend time with people who are getting the results that you want to get. Just by hanging out with them, your personal power will grow, your vision will grow, your confidence in yourself is going to grow just by spending time with these people. Next, if you can't find the people in your life and you can't find a way to spend time with them, start reading books that expand your mind and expand your vision. If you're not able to figure out a way to get around these people, read books of expanded visionaries, books like Magic of Thinking Big, books like As a Man Thinketh, books like Think and Grow Rich, and notice that they all have the word think in there. You have to use your mind, not your mind to figure out how to do a job for someone else and trade your time for money, but start to think creatively as a visionary of how to figure out what you love to do, how to figure out just what you want. What do you want in life? And then figure out a way to make money doing it. So spend time with people, read the books of people, watch movies or documentaries of the lives of people who are doing these things, and you'd be surprised at how much you'll pick up just by being in that environment. Start to turn off the news, turn off the television, stop spending time with the losers in your life that aren't serving you, who are not adding value to your life, who are not expanding your mind and your capabilities. You should be energized every single day by the people that you love, by the people that you spend your time with. If not, why are you spending time with them? And if first and foremost, you've got to look in the mirror, is that person energizing you? Is that person expanding your mind? Is that person helping you go for your dreams? If not, that's the first person you've got to do. And that's why you've got to surround yourself with other people that want you to win, that want you to accomplish your dreams. And it all starts with that person that you see in the mirror. It starts with yourself, and it starts with your mindset and your own vision. And you can take ownership regardless of your circumstances, regardless of how much money you have, regardless of what city you grew up in, regardless of what your family was all about. You can change things, and it starts with today, right now, making a choice of what you want and where you're going to go from here.
It's funny how that kind of compounds, and that's, again, I go back to Darren Hardy from Success Magazine. He's got the compound effect, and he talks about how you just minute by minute, day by day, week by week, you make these decisions that are going to push you in a direction. I find even myself, instead of listening to sports radio at noon, I'll pop in the Success CD, or I'll try to get like a great thinker like a Napoleon Hill, or even doing these interviews with Power. I find that all day long, my mind, and I want you to speak to this, my mind is starting to become a fertile ground of not only ideas and creativity, but it's also expanded my thinking and showing me opportunities that I might have missed otherwise.
Here's what happens. Learn a technical skill, and you study a technical skill, technology changes, and that skill is completely outdated, and you're back to square one. If you become a person who's resourceful to deal with changes in the environment, regardless of where the market ebbs and flows, you become the person who can handle any situation, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, relationally. You could lose all of your money, but it has nothing to do. If you take away a wealthy person's money who made the money on their own, chances are, because of who they became along the way and the lessons that they've learned along the way, they're going to earn all their money back. Because what you have to work on is you. Work on person to become more resourceful, more aware, more awakened, more powerful, more confident, more capable to deal with whatever life circumstances deal with you or give you. Because once you start becoming that person, regardless of what's going on the outside, you'll know that you can always create or recreate the things that you want. That's why it's so important, and I believe imperative, to start dealing with your mindset, to start dealing with your attitude. You can hire someone for your business that has a specific technical skill but a horrible attitude. Or you can hire someone with a great attitude and just teach them that technical skill. Which person would you rather have working on your team?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Well, Louis Lautman, very, very interesting interview. You gave us a lot. I always, at the end of the interview, open up the floor to whoever I'm interviewing and say to them, okay, I'm plopping you right in front of the listener, and you are one-on-one with the listener, the person that is striving for success. I want you to tell me from your heart what you would tell that person if you could tell them anything about how to reach their dreams.
Well, it's what I say at the very end of the Yes Movie. And by the way, the Yes Movie is the film that exposes the secrets of today's youngest millionaires. If you haven't seen it, you can go to www.theyesmovie.com. And what I say is you can be, do, and have everything that you want in life. You just have to take action. And as you see in the end of the Yes Movie, there's a guy who builds a $60 million company at the age of 17 to 30, and he makes these comfortable beanbag chairs. And he says, the difference between me and everybody else who was 17 years old is that I actually got up off the couch, went to the fabric store, and bought some fabric and started sewing it together. That's the difference between the people who are successful and the people who sit around, talk about it, and want to do it, and think they want to do it, and say they want to do it, but aren't actually doing anything about it. Is that you can be, do, and have anything that you want in life. You just have to take action. And then keep taking action until you succeed. You never really fail until you give up. The results that you get might not be what you want. You might lose all your money. You might get laughed at. Your friends might think you're crazy. But as long as you keep persisting through in the face of adversity, in the face of challenges, in the face of no money, and you never give up till you accomplish your dream, you're going to be successful and you're going to have everything that you want in life. You just have to get up off that couch and take action.
All right, Louis Lautman, thank you very much. Very interesting conversation, and appreciate your time.
All right, it's been an absolute pleasure.